आहा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छया आहा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पद छया आहा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे
Krishna. Ha ha Prabhu Korodayo Deho More Padachaya. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the Sankirtan movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes.
And all glories to all of you who are attending today's Prabhupada Disciples Association Bhagavad-gītā reading and discussion. These classes were started about 10 months ago by the mercy of, hold on. These classes were started about 10 months ago by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Krishna to let us, excuse me for 1 second, I'll just cancel this. Thank you. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya, with the purpose of preserving Prabhupada's legacy in presenting his teachings in his original unedited books. And this is an opportunity for all of us in this group to maintain a steady sadhana program of Krishna conscious practice. Please put your microphone on mute, whoever it is. Thank you. And along with the regular readings and discussions that we're having, which are 3 times a week, we also request that our members chant 16 rounds a day. It's a formula of spiritual success that Prabhupada gave us to chant japa every day, 16 rounds, and to offer prasadam, a bhoga, to your deity or a pitcher at your house that you may be using. Offer your food. And not only should you offer the food, but you should go to the front door and call out to people on the street, does anybody want prasadam today? And invite them into your home and give them prasadam. This is a principle of Krishna consciousness that we should follow, that we're sharing spiritual food properly offered to Prabhupada, to other people. This is very important. And along with that, 4 regulated principles that we adhere to: no intoxication, meat eating, no illicit sex, and no gambling. So this is a formula for practice for our members. And if we follow these simple principles, study the books on a regular basis along with the classes, then we'll become a powerful group of Vaishnavas working together with spiritual potency. Potency doesn't come from fanfare. It comes from personal practice. So, like any kind of profession, the professional people that are in that profession, they're very much disciplined in their practices to become effective in their work. So in the same way, Prabhupada promoted this process to all of his disciples. Even in the early days, he was always urging everyone to rise up off the animal platform and become true human beings, spiritually focused in their life daily. And we've been reading the diaries of Srila Prabhupada, and from the Jaladutta diaries, and now we're finishing up these wonderful writings of Srila Prabhupada from his early days, which are still relevant today. And we're going to go back over to that section to begin the morning session of Bhagavad-gītā As It Is with His Grace Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. I could see he's in his car. He's been traveling to Los Angeles, but without fail, he's here to deliver the session for everyone's benefit. So we'll go right now. This is an excerpt from a lecture on the Bhagavad-gītā, chapter 2, text 11, given on March 4th, 1966, when Srila Prabhupada was living at the yoga studio of Dr. Mishra. So those who have been following along will know all about this. If you're new to our group, please go to our Krishna Consciousness Movement YouTube channel, and you can catch up on all the previous classes. I think we have over 150 classes already recorded, so there's hundreds of hours of transcendental association with our group for you to enjoy. Prabhupada, just like at Vrindavan, that is practical. Now here I am sitting. New York is very great, the world's greatest city, so magnificent only, but my heart is always hankering after that Vrindavan. Have you got the pages that I sent to you, Vinkabhata? Do you have them?
I think this is from Wednesday. Let me just open them up.
Yeah, I sent them. It's the same. I had sent ahead a bit, but I'm sending these items up, Prabhus, to we're using all these channels of delivery of information. So sometimes it might get clouded. Woman, yes. Prabhupada, yes, I am not happy here, Prabhupada says. So he's talking about being in New York. Woman, yes, I know. And Prabhupada says, I shall be very happy to return to my Vrindavan. Yeah, there you go. See? So there's a conversation. That sacred place. But then why are you here? Now, because it is my duty, I have brought some message for you people, because I'm ordered for superior, by superior, my spiritual master, that whatever you have learned, you should go to the Western countries and you must distribute this knowledge. So in spite of all my difficulties, all my inconveniences, I'm here because I'm in duty. That is my personal convenience. If I go and sit down at Vrindavan, I shall be very comfortable there. And I'll have no anxiety, nothing of that sort, you see. But I've taken all the risk in the old age because I am in duty bound. I am in duty bound, so I have to execute my duty in spite of all my inconveniences. That is the idea. So this is the whole thing, the whole basic principle of spiritual advancement of knowledge. One should first be convinced that he is not this body. He is not this body, then other spiritual knowledge will begin. This is the basic principle. You'll find it. You'll find it in the Bhagavad-gītā that the situation of spiritual life is called Brahma-bhuta, Brahman. So, Brahma-bhuta prashanatma na sochati na kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. So, unless one understands himself, he also cannot understand God also. In his misunderstanding position. Now, what Dr. Mishra is teaching is very nice because he is teaching, just first, all of you know what I am, that's very good, but what I am, or can be known from the Bhagavad-gītā also. That I am not the body, I'm not this body. That knowledge, at least theoretically, one must accept. That I am not the body. So, this is very insightful for all of us, how Prabhupada is explaining his own understanding of Krishna consciousness for everyone's benefit, because he practiced what he preached perfectly for our benefit. And this is our position as his disciples, all of us. We're going to move forward with the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava, the bhajan that was used before every class by Srila Prabhupada. And it was always blissful to hear him sing in front of us. I'm so sorry that he's not here with us anymore. It's such a tragedy. And then we'll have the reading and discussion with His Grace Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, who's in his car in California. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yaśodā-nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yaśodā-nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yaśodā-nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yaśodā-nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Muspa Paramahansa Parivrajaga-ācārya Sattva Smadha Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupāda ki jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai Nāma-ācārya Sri Haridas Thakur ki jai Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti ki jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Bhog Gopinath Sam Khanda Radha Khanda Giridhar ki jai Vrindavan Dham ki jai Navadvip Dham ki jai Ganga Mai ki jai Jamuna Mai ki jai Guru Dwarka Dham ki jai Swami Bhaktivedanta ki jai All glories to the Assembly. All glories to the Assembly. Thank you very much.
All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. Glories to you, Prabhupada.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya. Narayanam Namaskritya. Naram Cheva Narottamam. Naram Cheva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Tato Jayam Mudirayet. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagar Jatam Saha Gunara Gunatan Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Scha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostuti Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Srimad Bhagavad-gītā As It Is. Today we are broadcasting from Moreno Valley, South California, 2 hours east of Los Angeles. Today we'll be reading from chapter 9 of Bhagavad-gītā. I don't know exactly if it takes 25 or
24, Prabhu.
24. Very nice. Thank you. We'll be reading 2 verses today. And I want to thank everybody for participating with this reading and discussion. All translations, synonyms, and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, Founder-Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. Text number 24. Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha natu mam abhijananti tatrina tasyavanti aham I, he, surely, sarva of all, yajnanam sacrifices, bhukta enjoyer, cha and, prabhu Lord, eva also, cha and, na not, to but, mam me, abhijananti no, tatvena in reality, ataha therefore, shyavanti fall down, te they. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. I am the only enjoyer and the only object of sacrifice. Those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. Purport. Here it is clearly stated that there are many types of yajna performances recommended in the Vedic literatures. But actually, all of them are meant for satisfying the Supreme Lord. Yajna means Vishnu. In the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, it is clearly stated that one should not only work for satisfying Yajna or Vishnu. The perfectional form of human civilization, known as Varnashram Dharma, is specifically meant for satisfying Vishnu. Therefore, Krishna says in this verse, I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices because I am the Supreme Master. However, less intelligent persons, without knowing this fact, worship demigods for temporary benefit. Therefore, they fall down to material existence and do not achieve the desired goal of life. If, however, anyone has any material desire to be fulfilled, he had better pray for it to the Supreme Lord, although that is not pure devotion, and he will thus achieve the desired result. Text 25. Yanti devavrata devan Pitrun yanti pratiruvrataha, bhutani yanti bhutejya, yanti madhyajino pimam, yanti achieve. Devavrataha, worshippers of demigods. Devan, to demigods. Pitrun, to ancestors. Yanti, go. Pritrivrata, worshippers of ancestors. Bhutani, to ghosts and spirits. Yanti, go. Bhutejya, worshippers of ghosts and spirits. Yanti, go. Mat, my. Yajinaha, devotees. Api, also. Mam, unto me. Translation. Those who worship the demigods will take birth amongst the demigods. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. Those who worship ancestors go to the ancestors, and those who worship me will live with me. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. If anyone has any desire to go to the moon, the sun, or any other planet, one can attain the desired destination by following specific Vedic principles recommended for that purpose. These are vividly described in the fruitive activities portion of the Vedas, technically known as Darsha Purnamasi, which recommends a specific worship of demigods situated on different heavenly planets. Similarly, one can attain the Pita planets by performing a specific yajna. Similarly, one can go to many ghostly planets and become a yaksha, raksha, or pishacha. Pishacha worship is called black arts or black magic. There are many men who practice this black art and they think that it is spiritualism. But such activities are completely materialistic. Similarly, a pure devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead only achieves the planets of Vaikuntha and Goloka Vrindavana and Krishna Loka without a doubt. It is very easy to understand through this important verse that if by simply worship the demigods, one can achieve the heavenly planets, or by worshiping the Pita, achieve the Pita planets, or by practicing the black arts, achieve the ghostly planets, why can the pure devotee not achieve the planet of Vishnu or Krishna, of Krishna or Vishnu? Unfortunately, many people have no information of these sublime planets where Krishna and Vishnu live. And because they do not know of them, they fall down. Even the impersonalists fall down from the Brahma Jyoti. This Krishna consciousness movement is therefore distributing sublime information to the entire human society to the effect that by simply chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can become perfect in this life and go back to home, back to Godhead. Om Ajnana Tibirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master who has opened my eyes, who has opened all of our eyes from the darkness of ignorance with a torchlight of transcendental knowledge. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Bhagavad-vandanam Khadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadatehi Visheshataham Adadhanastrinam Danter Idam Yache Punah Punah Srimad Rupa Padam Bhoja Dulishyam Janma Janmani Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sri Rup Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So there's very important points being discussed by Srila Prabhupada here about the various destinations of different kinds of worship. We see that many times throughout Srila Prabhupada's books and through his lectures and conversations, Prabhupada is warning that there are different results according to different types of worship. But unfortunately, as we have all experienced, or as we've read or known, not everybody is accepting this. I remember one time in South India, we were in Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, and one gentleman, he was from Sindh. Sindh is currently in Pakistan, in the southern portion of Pakistan. And he considered himself a devotee of Lord Krishna. So we tried to explain to him that in order to get the results of worshiping Krishna, you should focus on Lord Krishna. You can be respectful to the demigod, but there's no need to separately worship the demigods. And we explained to him that according to the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's an injunction, Yatha taror mula nichachanena. Just like if you water the root of a tree, all the branches, the leaves, the twigs, the flowers, everything is automatically nourished. We have all experienced this. If you have a plant or a tree, you just put water on the roots and gradually it will grow. But if a less intelligent person thinks that they have to water every leaf, every twig, every branch, that will not work very well. Neither is it practical. So when we explained this to the gentleman, he still would not accept. He says, but I want to go to Svarg, to the higher planets. We told him, why do you want to go to Svarg? Oh, because duration of life is very long. And we told him, but Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gītā, Kshinye purnye martya lokam vishanti. Once their punya or their accumulated pious activities are finished, martya lokam vishanti, they have to come back here again. Why not worship Krishna and go back to Godhead? Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha tyaktva deham punara janma Krishna promises that if you understand the true nature of my incidental activities, of my birth and activities, you don't have to come back here to suffer again. But there are some who don't want that. Just like at one point we were in Bangalore in 1975 with Achyutananda Swami, and one elderly lady came to see us to complaining. She was crying. Oh, there is one man down the street. He's giving me too much trouble. He's worshiping ghosts. Achyutananda Swami, what ghost? We'll take care of these ghosts. So we took some brahmacharis, some mridangas and kartals, and had a roaring kirtan. Says, that will take care of your ghosts. No more ghosts. There's an interesting story how in 1977, Srila Prabhupada was attending the Srila Prabhupada at night for a few hours. And Srila Prabhupada one time called me. I was massaging his feet. He called me to the head of the bed and he looked at me. He says, did you ever hear of the ghost story? I said, no, Srila Prabhupada. What is that story? And Prabhupada related when he was in Prayag, Allahabad, after he moved from Calcutta, he established a pharmacy there. So Prabhupada said, I was trying to rent a big house because my family was moving with me. I was establishing my business. And Prabhupada said it was a big house for rent, but it had been vacant for some time. And Prabhupada said, the agent told me there is a ghost inside the house. Prabhupada said, oh, there's a ghost inside the house. Prabhupada said, he told the agent, I will take care of that problem. Prabhupada took his mridanga, went all around the house, chanted Hare Krishna very blissfully, and the ghost went away. And Prabhupada looked at me and says, so now you know the ghost story. Prabhupada said, anytime that there's problems with ghosts and spirits, you just have kirtan. They cannot stay where there is kirtan. Prabhupada said, you understand this? I said, oh yes, Prabhupada. And Prabhupada had his big smile. But it's important in the Bhagavatam, in the 5th canto of the Bhagavatam, there is a section where it describes that the antariksha is the space between the plane of the earth and the next level of planetary system. It's a little higher up. That this is where all the ghosts, the goblins, the Brahma Rakshasas, that's where they reside. And they come out at one time of the day, just an hour and a half before the sun is going down. That's why in India, all the Brahmins at that time of the day, they would do their Sandhya Bandhana. They would recite Vishnu Sahasranam, have Kirtan, do Achaman, recite prayers to Narasimha, 108 names, Narasimha, 1,000 names, 108 names of Krishna to counteract the evil influence of these spirits because they are there. But nowadays in Kali Yuga, there's evil spirits everywhere. Prabhupada several times complained in his lectures how by the influence of Kali Yuga, all of these 4 vices that are the infiltration of the age of Kali, this meat eating, illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, all this nonsense is everywhere now. And with the internet and television, radio, everything, it is propagation everywhere. Everyone is becoming influenced and victimized. So how to counteract this? Because people, especially in India, they would often ask us, well, how do we get peace? There are so many problems. How do we get peace? But Krishna is giving good solution in this verse. You see, Krishna explains, I'm the only enjoyer and the only objects of sacrifice. Those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. Now, this is a very important point because we see this is the same principle that is given in the Sri Upanishad that everyone is familiar with. Ishavasyamidagam sarvam. That everything belongs to the Isha, the controller, Krishna. Everything. What does Krishna say in the 5th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā? Text 29. Bhoktaram yajñatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam yatmamam shantim richati. Everybody wants shanti, peace. Krishna is giving the peace solution, the peace formula. When Srila Prabhupada started his preaching in New York in 1966, there were 2 little pamphlets they used to distribute. Hamsaduta Maharaj told me the story. First, Prabhupada did on chanting the Maha Mantra, explaining the meaning of the Hare Krishna mantra. This is well known, that even a child can do it, even a dog can do it. This is totally transcendental. One does not have to know the language of the mantra. It's a beautiful, detailed explanation of the meaning of the Maha Mantra. Then Srila Prabhupada wrote the peace formula. For those of you who remember, during that time in American society, there was a lot of upheaval due to the war in Vietnam. America was engaged in a long, protracted war in Vietnam, and there was a lot of protest with many youth and many people in America that we don't want this war. We don't want this unnecessary killing. Srila Prabhupada in one conversation, whether you want it or not, because you're engaged in killing animals, then naturally this problem will come back to you. You will have wars, you will have famine, pestilence, natural disasters, because of it is unnecessary animal killing. So in the Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna gives the solution to all this problem. Bhoktaram yajñatapasam, that I am the enjoyer of all your sacrifices, all your work. Sarvaloka maheshwaram, that I am the controller of all the planets. I own everything. Just like right now, everyone on this call, you all know there's conflicts all over the world. There's conflicts in Ukraine, conflicts in the Middle East, conflicts in some parts of Africa. There's constant conflicts between man to man, family to family, nation to nation, community to community, because people forget Krishna's advice. Sarvaloka maheshwaram. This is very important. Srila Prabhupada, I suggest to everybody on this call, when we finish this call, try to go locate that peace formula and what Srila Prabhupada, how Srila Prabhupada is beautifully explaining how to achieve peace. And Krishna continues, Suridam Sarvabhutanam, I am the friend of all living entities. I've often quoted from a song of Bhaktivedanta Thakur called Nadia Gurudhurume Nityananda Mahajan. This is a description by Bhaktivedanta Thakur of the preaching method of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And he's giving explanation when he went on his preaching with Haridas Thakur. One of the injunction that he gives is Bolo Krishna, Bhaja Krishna, Koro Krishna Shiksha. Aparada Lahanam Laha Krishna Nam. Aparada Shunyahoy, that you make these offenses, destroy, no more offenses. You engage in worshiping Krishna, chanting the name of Krishna, Bolo Krishna, Bhaja Krishna, Koro Krishna Shiksha, follow Krishna's instruction. That if you do that, you will achieve. The next set of instruction, Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dana Pran. Accept Krishna as your father, accept Krishna as your mother, accept Krishna as your Lord. as your friend and render service to Lord Krishna. This is the real solution. This is the real message that Srila Prabhupada brought to this country and all over the world. Very, very special meaning. We have to go deep into the meaning of those instruction, of those teachings. It is not difficult. I know in Bangalore, I've got two good friends, Bhaktivedanta Prabhu and Bhakta Chaitanya Gadgil. Bhakta Chaitanya is a very interesting devotee, very young. I don't know exactly what his age is, but he chants his rounds, follows the principles, and every single day he makes deep, deep study into Srila Prabhupada's teachings on so many topics. Very good brain. We've often discussed Alpamedasaha and Sumedasaha. Less intelligent persons in Kali Yuga and Sumedasaha. Some people like Chaitanya Gadgil and this other lady who comes on the call, Rupa Manjari, very good brain. They listen to the instruction of Srila Prabhupada, they understand the instruction, and they're able to very nicely present it simply, not complicated, no speculation, no interpolation, no changes, no adulteration, not difficult to understand. So we're very grateful and appreciative of such nice devotees like that, and all of you, because this is important. A couple of us are getting old. We're old wood. We're not going to live forever, but you will carry on. You will not also not live forever, but you're likely to carry on much longer than we are. It's important to get that firm conviction that by presenting Prabhupada's teachings, by presenting Prabhupada's instruction, you will benefit others, you'll benefit yourself, benefit your family, your children, your family, and everybody else. This was Prabhupada's message, especially those of you who are born of Indian families or Indian origin. It is in your DNA, it is in your system. Cultivate it, learn it, and present it. This is very special. Another story, in 1977, Srila Prabhupada one time asked me, so how do you like this Vrindavan? Do you like this place? I said, yes, this Vrindavan is very special. First I said, Prabhupada, because at night in Vrindavan, you can hear the peacocks, there's cuckoos, there's parrots, there's also monkeys going around. So Prabhupada said, you hear all this? I said, yes, this is very special. Prabhupada said, this is the highest place in the universe, not just on this planet, in the entire universe. And I asked Srila Prabhupada, but didn't you say once that Navadvip and Mayapur are the highest place in Vrindavan? And Srila Prabhupada said, yes, that is also true. All these places are the highest places, but amongst all of these places, this is the place where Krishna was born. This area here, Raman Reti, is the place where Krishna used to play with his brother Balaram. Very special. So what do you think of this place now? I said, well, Prabhupada, in your Chaitanya Charitamrita, you quoted a verse from the Adi Purana, Trailoke Prithividanya Yatra Vrindavanam Bhuvi, that this earth planet is very special amongst all the places. Why? Tatrapi Gopikaha Parta Yatra Radha Bidam Mama. Today is the appearance day of Srimati Radharani. So I told Prabhupada, you quote this verse that because on this earth, Radharani came here and all the gopis also came to serve Krishna. Prabhupada smiled, he says, yes, that is very good. So now you stay here and you teach children. So that was Krishna and Prabhupada's mercy. The point is that mission of Srila Prabhupada, that very valuable instruction, that Vrindavan is extremely special. But if we think deeper, if we go deeper and realize what Prabhupada did, he brought Vrindavan to every place he went. He installed deities. He introduced the worship of the Tulsi Devi, introduced the Srimad Bhagavatam, introduced the wonderful Kirtan. So those who are Alpha Medasaha, less intelligent, could become Sumedasaha, to become completely transcendental. The other day I was joking, told my wife, do you want to do a little service? Say, what do you want? Can you make a little necklace for Krishna? So she has a little system of different beads and some kind of little place where you can string beads and things. So she stayed up and made this beautiful little, I don't know if anybody can see this. Can anybody see? No, you can't see here. I've got this little Hare Krishna that actually belongs to Dwarkadish in Santa Rosa. And every day I've been worshiping this deity since 1976, never missed a day. And this deity is not very tall. It's about 4.5, 5 inches high. It's a rare South Indian type Krishna Kaliya deity. I have it here in the car. And she made a special necklace with these beads for Krishna. Now, anybody can do some service to Krishna by chanting, by offering foodstuffs. You know, one doesn't have to be a highly educated Brahmin and knowing Sanskrit and all that. That is not necessary. What Srila Prabhupada did is simplified the whole point of Bhakti Yoga. The whole process was simplified and practically adjusted according to time, place, and circumstances that anyone, man, woman, child of any place, whether one is intelligent, less intelligent, rich, poor, American, Indian, Polish, Chinese, Russian, Ukrainian, it doesn't matter where one is from. It does not matter what condition one in. What Srila Prabhupada did was practically apply that verse that Ramananda Roy told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sthanistitaha shruti gatantanuvan manobhir ye prayaso jita jitva pita istrilokyam. This is the verse that Lord Chaitanya accepted, that you may remain in whatever position you are and listen to the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. Because several people have asked, why do you keep so much importance, you and Vishwakarpa, this hearing and discussion? Why don't you just give a class? Do the verse and start giving a class like we used to do during Prabhupada's time. And I said, well, the point is that as disciples of Srila Prabhupada, as followers of Srila Prabhupada, as students of Srila Prabhupada, we all know that Prabhupada many times requested his disciples and students to study each and every word in his books. So when is that going to happen? In 2079? No, we have to make it happen now. That's why we carefully read every word, every verse, every purport, keep discussing the verse, keep discussing various references that Srila Prabhupada make. Just like every time I give this presentation on Bhagavad-gītā, I've got this other book called Collected Lectures on Bhagavad-gītā As It Is. This was produced by Ekanath Prabhu and other Prabhus at the Bhaktivedanta Archives, which is a compilation of all these different lectures that Prabhupada gave on these verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Srila Prabhupada elaborates and gives so many wonderful nectarian explanations, beautiful explanations of the meaning of these verses. There's so much deep meaning there. And if somebody wants, they can go on the internet and listen to the lecture, hear Prabhupada's voice directly. Just this week, I had a communication from a devotee in Florida. Some of you may know him, Nalinikanta Prabhu. And we were discussing the philosophical position of a godbrother, an older godbrother, a very senior godbrother. And Nalinikanta made the point that there seemed to be a very deep misunderstanding with many devotees, especially many senior devotees, who had a lot of personal association with Prabhupada, some of them are preaching that people can no longer understand Srila Prabhupada's books without going through them. Oh, so basically, what they're really saying that Prabhupada's books are no longer able to convince people because people have to go through their physicality. And Nalinikanta said, this is simply nonsense. This is not what Srila Prabhupada taught. Prabhupada says anyone can read these books and get. Prabhupada said if when somebody touches the book, they will get the benefit. If somebody just keep the book inside their house, even though they don't read, they still will get benefit. If they read one page, they will get great benefit. So there's no big mystery. We don't have a neo-caste Brahmin system in this movement. That some people think that they're so much better than others, that everybody has to go through them, through their physicality in order to understand Prabhupada. No, that is a falsehood. We do not accept this false premise. Just like Krishna is self-effulgent, the pure devotee of Krishna is self-effulgent. Anybody can understand, whether they physically met him or not. I've often described how for Janmashtami and Vyasa Puja, we had the good fortune to go to Bhakti Ram Singh in Sacramento. He has a temple in his house. And I was amazed by the quality of the deity worship, beautiful Gaur-Nitai deities, beautiful Prabhupada deities, beautiful posters, books of Srila Prabhupada everywhere, beautiful kirtan. His own mother and father were there chanting, dancing, cooking. I was thinking Prabhupada would be so pleased. We know Prabhupada would be so pleased with this devotional work. So we are very grateful for that, Bhaktiram. And all the devotees who are trying to follow Srila Prabhupada, trying to promote Srila Prabhupada. Very important. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, for that extremely articulate, brilliant, at least to my ears, and I'm sure to everyone else here, brilliant explanation of our philosophy of Krishna consciousness as given to us from Srila Prabhupada, and so many different examples directly from His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda that were given to you, and you are explaining the philosophy based on his teachings to all of us. Because this is what's called Prabhupada nectar. This nectar, this information coming from the direct source, the pure devotee, spiritual master, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, is the life of a devotee. And especially when you hear it from his bona fide disciples, this becomes further relishable by all of us, because this is the process of disciplic succession, being handed down unadulterated by any other motive than to present Prabhupada's teachings for the benefit of all. Prabhupada gave the example of the mango, that when you pick a mango, the proper way to pass it down from the top of the tree to the ground is not to throw it, but you take it and you, this happened to me actually when I was in the Congo some years ago. We were sitting in in the yard, and there was a mango at the top of the tree, a beautiful ripe mango. And the person that owned the house, he arranged for someone to take a ladder and go up to the top of the tree, carefully bring down the mango for us to have. So like that, the fruit of Krishna consciousness has to be carefully passed down, not thrown down to the ground. This is a specific science of spiritual knowledge that has to be preserved. And this is the function of this group and all its members. Each one of us globally that's participating to explain to others the principles of Krishna consciousness without any change or adulteration. Prabhupada would explain that you should just simply repeat what I have spoken. That is the business of the disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada would give this example, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, that Krishna consciousness is simple for the simple and difficult for the crooked. Simple for the simple and difficult for the crooked. What does he mean? That if you take to this process with a pure heart, sincere, not motivated in any way, shape, or form for profit, adoration, or distinction, not motivated for money or fame, but simply motivated by a desire to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission according to the way that he taught us, then this process becomes glorious in your life. Glorious. This is a personal process for each one of us to follow. And by doing this, our group will become very potent, like an atomic bomb. It is up to each and every individual that participates in the Prabhupada Disciples Association to pray for the mercy of our spiritual master to help us become strong, and pray to the mercy of the God brothers and God sisters that are on this call and with us all over the world, that they will help us to become real devotees, bona fide disciples of Srila Prabhupada. How do we become enlightened with true knowledge? Through this process. Why does he get benefit? This is the transcendental benefit of spiritual benefit of contact with Krishna. So this Krishna consciousness movement and this association is based on the principle of Shravanam Kirtanam. And each week we are conducting these classes voluntarily to share the transcendental wisdom of Srila Prabhupada to all of its members. Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, if you could continue, please, for us.
I've lost my screen. Oh, here we go. It came back. I'm going to read a few a section of the same verse that Prabhupada discussed, or similar verses. This was in September, Bhagavad-gītā reading, I believe on December, hold on. This was in New York on December 12th, 1966. Srila Prabhupada. Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhureva cha natumam abhijananti tatvenatasya bantite. Because we do not know God, in fact, simply understanding, oh, there is God, and a little more advanced, God is our order suppliers. That is not sufficient. You must know God. I mean to say, tatvena, in truth, tatvena. The tatvena in truth as it is explained by Lord Chaitanya. That is the highest explanation. He has given the fullest information. Of course, it is not possible to understand God to the fullest extension. But as far as possible as a human being can understand, that has been explained indeed by Lord Chaitanya about Krishna. Krishna has explained in the Bhagavad-gītā about himself. That is more than sufficient. And still more, Lord Chaitanya has explained about him. Krishna has explained himself so that you're required to surrender unto him. Just like here also he says that Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhukta. I am the beneficiary of all the activities of living entities. And bhukta cha prabhureva cha. I'm enjoyer and I'm the master. So in the Bhagavad-gītā, you'll find that the Lord advises people in general that sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. Just try to surrender unto me, and I shall give you all protection. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is also Krishna himself, as a devotee. He's explaining Krishna further. Not only surrender, but after surrender, what are the activities? That is explained by Lord Chaitanya. So for the general people in general, the first requisition is that they must learn how to surrender unto God. Tatvena te abhijananti. They do not know what is me. I mean to say, accurate situation of the Supreme Lord. Now here it is stated, Yanti devavrata devan piturindyanti prituvratra bhutani yanti bhutidya yanti madhyajino pimam. Now the argument that in whatever form you worship the Supreme, this is the Mayavadi theory that God is impersonal. Now, because we cannot worship or meditate on something impersonal, therefore let us imagine something about him and meditate upon that. Just like the impersonalist yogis, they put before them a lump of something and concentrate upon them. So here that theory is refuted by Krishna. That impersonal conception of the Supreme in our imagination of God, that is not the way of approaching God. He says clearly herewith that Yanti Devavrata Devan, those who are worshiping the demigods. The demigods have their different places in this material world. All the planets, heavenly planets. There are 7 planetary systems up and 7 planetary systems down. So this is called Burloka, earthly planet. And there are many planets on this system. So Burloka, Bhuvarloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, then Brahmaloka, Satyaloka, like that. So many planets there are. So there are different kinds of living entities and different kinds of comforts. They are highly intelligent, more intelligent than a human being. Therefore, they are called demigods, almost God. So here Krishna says, those who are trying to worship the demigods, they'll go to the planets of the demigods. Yanti devavrata devan, putrunyanti prutruvrataha. Pritruvrataha, there's a form of worship of the forefathers. So there is a particular planet. The worshiper of the forefathers, they go there. Pitunyanti Pritruvrataha and Bhutani Yanti, Bhuteja Yanti. Bhutani Yanti Bhuteja. Those who are materialistics, those who want to worship these earthly things in this material world, not material world, everywhere, but Bhuteja, especially material worship. So Bhuteja, those who are worshiper of material elements, they remain in the material platform. Yanti Madhyachinopi Mam. And those who are worshiping me, the Lord, they will come to me. This is very nice, clear. Now suppose if you have purchased ticket for an intermediate station between California, San Francisco, and New York. So you shall have to get down that station. So how can you expect that you have purchased a ticket for intermediate station? How can you expect to go to California? Similarly, if you worship demigods, you can go up to that planet. As you worship, there are different arrangements in the system, in the creation of God as you want. You've got freedom of action, and God awards you the result, whatever you want. But if you want to go to the planet where Krishna is, Krishna planet, which is called Goloka Vrindavana, then you have to worship Krishna. Oh, there is nothing unreasonable. If you want to go to California, San Francisco, you have to purchase ticket for that. Now, what is the difference between going to other planets and to the planet where Krishna is? That will be explained. That is explained in a different place, that Yad Gatva Nadivartante Tadhama Paramam Mama. The supreme platform, supreme planet is that we're going, nobody returns to this material world. Yad Gatva Nadivartante. Nivartante means nanivartante, does not return. Abrahma Bhuvaran Lokaha Punar Avartino Arjuna. That we have discussed that Gata Gatim, within this material world, even if you go to the higher planets, the planet of the moon, planet of the sun planet, or heavenly planet, the Indraloka, Chandraloka, so many there are. Then after finishing your result of pious activities, you have to come back again, Punar Avartinaha. So we are sometimes going up, sometimes coming back again in this material world, sometimes going down. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
And we're very fortunate, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, to be a part of the Sankirtan mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is a direct staircase to the spiritual world. And everyone should take advantage of this opportunity to engage as much as possible in propagating Krishna consciousness in the different localities where you reside, Prabhu Datta Desha, where you live. I wanted to call upon Dr. Ram Raghava to maybe share some of his realizations and understandings of today's verse and purports and explanation that he's been hearing on today's program. Dr. Ram Raghava, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. My obeisances to everyone. Sorry, I don't have anything to add today. Everything was said so nicely. Thank you for this opportunity to part in wonderful association. I appreciate that every week. Today we're listening together. Hare Krishna.
You know, Prabhu, I was thinking the same thing after Yaśoda spoke. I was really puzzled what to do. I was enjoying the discussion so much because there is something very relishable in the association of other devotees that you don't necessarily, like you were saying, you don't have to necessarily speak. All you have to do is listen because of the non-dual nature of the transcendental sound vibration. There's no difference between the speaker and the listener. And both are enjoying on the same transcendental platform. So thank you very much. And it's always great to have all of our God brothers, those who are initiated by Srila Prabhupada personally, and then all of the new disciples of Srila Prabhupada who have been initiated by the Ritvik process of initiation that we conduct here at the Prabhupada Disciples Association. I see that Dharma Bhavana in Dallas, Texas is with us today. Prabhu, could you share some of your insights and realizations to our group on today's session? Dharma Bhavana, are you there? Maybe he's left. Vinkat Bhatta, is he still on the call with us?
Yeah,
He's
I'm
muted. He has to unmute himself.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, Hare Krishna, thank you, all basis to all devotees. I was just thinking how we were about 7 years ago, we engaged in different activities like Harinam. We did the best we could, but we had to be very patient because someone may engage in activities, devotional service, and it may not be the right time for us to feel a great success. It may be like a year later, 2 years later, Krishna may arrange a different, more success may come.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just thinking, reflecting upon what you just said about different devotees who are in Australia, Africa, India. We all have a different local situation, and we're engaging in the most important service of hearing and chanting by coming here to the Zoom calls. And I was just thinking how just to have the Zoom calls 3 times a week in a consistent way is not an easy thing. So I just myself try to appreciate the great strength to do that, and the preparation for it and the consistency. It is really a special thing, and all the devotees should be getting great strength so that when the proper time is right, maybe whatever can be done now locally, like you're saying, you're encouraging all the devotees. So that's really a great thing, and I appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much, Prabhu. I mean, it's an honor for us to even have some service in the mission of Lord Chaitanya, because a lot of times, Dharma Bhavana, when you get, let's say, expelled from the mission of Srila Prabhupada in his ISKCON movement, you become lost in what to do with your time. And this organization, that association of devotees that we have created, is an opportunity for us to get refocused on the mission and concentrate on the mission as the most important thing in our lives. As we were discussing today, when you water a tree, you water the root. So by watering the root of the mission of Lord Chaitanya through the direction of the bona fide spiritual master and his bona fide disciples, you automatically become enthused and inspired to spread the Sankirtan mission in your local area. So this is the idea. We're not here to manage people. We're here to assist all of us in this transcendental process. Jonas Priya, I see he's joined us. And by the way, if you by chance come on later in the program and you don't have a chance to hear the beginning, you can always, as I mentioned earlier, go to the Krishna Consciousness Movement YouTube site and get the classes from the beginning and get a full perspective on what the message is for each and every class. Jonas Priya in Hawaii, how are you today?
Hare Krishna, Haribol, Aloha, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. As always, I feel so fortunate to have the association, and this is our life. To if we don't hear about Krishna from other devotees, then we're missing a lot. Because why? We Krishna says one who tries to understand the nature, his nature, what he does, who he hangs out with, what he came for, all of these things. So if you want to get to know somebody, you have to do what? You have to study the person. If you want to please somebody, you learn what is it? Okay, what's their favorite kind of food, or what's their favorite song or color, or blah blah blah. So same way, we want to know everything about Krishna, and we're so fortunate that Srila Prabhupada and most religions or techniques or formulas that have exit, that are successful, they charge. And Prabhupada came and he didn't charge a penny. Prabhupada gave, I think Hare Krishna movement that Prabhupada established is the only movement at the time that didn't charge for a mantra to get initiated. And this is amazing. Why? Because we learn from hearing that whatever we do for Krishna, that's the best thing we could do with our lives. There's actually no other reason, especially on my age group, there's no other reason for a devotee not to be trying the best of his ability to help Srila Prabhupada with his great movement, pushing forward. And if we're too weak to go on Sankirtan, then find somebody that goes out and support him, buy him books, or do whatever we can. We could do so many things. We could be translating literature. Even if you translate one page a week, that's 54 pages in a year. So there's no excuse. And we were talking about hearing about Krishna. And what Krishna says, he says that he's most kind to those devotees that talk about him. To whom? To other devotees. So this is the highest possible platform we could find. We're right here. This is it. It's happening right here. We're devotees talking about Krishna to other devotees. And if you want to be noticed by Krishna, then Prabhupada said, what? We should act in a way. If we think we could see Krishna, then yeah, maybe some will have a longer way than others. But he said, if you act in a way that Krishna will want to see you, then this will be very fast. So Prabhupada gave us so many shortcuts. And what else? More than, I don't know, I think there's at least 50 places where Prabhupada says, if you follow this process to the best of your ability, you chant your 16 rounds, 4 principles, associate with the bodies, offer you food, water tulsi, have association, read his books. At the end of this life, what's going to happen? He says, you're going to go back home. So this is a big debate, and we know that there's many scriptures to say that unless we're 100%, if we have 0.00001 of material desires, we'll have to pay for it, and there's no place to pay for that. But here, you have to pay here. So let's try to be, at least don't create any karma. And if we could not be real nice devotees, at least don't be a bad devotee. Be neutral. Then you're going, at least you're not thinking like me. So again, thanks to everybody. And I appreciate this great effort. And Radhastami is coming.
Yes, Radhastami is coming, and tomorrow we'll be having a program from Japan, and the devotees there are celebrating on that day, and we'll be speaking on the glories of Srimati Radharani for everyone's benefit. Vinkat Bhatta, you're no longer in South India, you're in Toronto, Canada. You've made a long journey back here. I see that we've had some questions that have come up on the chat. Is there anything that you'd like to read for us and we could answer?
Okay, sure. There's a question by Kanta Prabhu.
Okay.
Did Prabhupada authorize a GBC administrator to also become guru and take disciples? There's also an answer by Ronald Singh to that question. Should I read that?
Go ahead, please. Let's hear what's being written on the chat.
Okay. He says, Srila Prabhupada's direction for the GBC is in the direction of management established in 1970 by Srila Prabhupada. Nowhere it says GBC is to appoint or elect gurus. It's all bogus, this present GBC. Has nothing to do with the original instructions found in the direction of management established in 1970.
Yes. Actually, I had a long discussion with Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu last night in California about the same subject. And very simply, not to get into an elaborate discussion because it is a history. First of all, we did make a point. It is important for all of us to know the history of the ISKCON movement and how it's operated before and after Prabhupada's departure. So it's not something that's taboo, but it's not a main focal point for us as we progress further into the Krishna conscious preaching work that we're doing. We find too also, Venkat Bhatta, that a lot of people that after they become devotees, they've learnt the process, they are interested in this whole history. They are very much so, and we're planning to have some special broadcasts coming up in the next couple of weeks. We'll let everyone know, which will deal specifically with these issues and the fraudulent activities of few misdirected so-called leaders in the ISKCON movement. Yes, it's not hard to understand that these people are not Uttama-ācāryas. How can you have out of 150 people, 75 of these so-called gurus fall down due to material desires? This is not Prabhupada's plan for his mission. And even before they got this engine going, a lot of these people were already deviant back in the 70s. And this was an unfortunate situation for them and everyone that was around them. So this will come out in the future in our discussions and our programs so that all of you can learn the history of this mission and how it was sidelined by some into this current state of affairs. Venkat Bhatta, anything else that you can see there on our chat?
There's also a question by Rupesh Chauhan Prabhu.
Okay, please.
Hare Krishna, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. My question is, suppose someone is genuinely and seriously following Srila Prabhupada as it is, but he's not initiated or dies. Does that mean he will not go back to the spiritual world, back to Godhead?
Okay, I'll give a quick answer because we're moving to the end of the class actually, and I want to get Vijaya Pandit to ask his question. Initiation, the point of initiation, it's a formality. Now, formality means something. It's not you don't minimize initiation by saying, well, it's just a formality. It doesn't mean that. Formality means it's formal. It is a serious situation. Now, if someone is not formally initiated, but they're following the process, then that is also, and they die before a formal initiation, they are actually initiated simply by following the process. So it's a common sense understanding. If you're following the process, you're not initiated, but you're adhering to the principles, you get all the benefit of being a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And therefore, you're entitled to the mercy of Krishna and the spiritual master. Vijaya Pandit, please, your question. Your microphone, please. Put your microphone on. You're muted.
Prabhu, we're not able to hear you.
Vijaya Pandit, your microphone is off. Not working. We'll see what happens here. Unfortunately, we're going to have to table this question for tomorrow's class. There's no volume from you. No sound. Technology failed us. Glories to Prabhupada. Vinkat Bhatta Prabhu, thank you very much for assisting us in today's production. And we want to remind everyone that we'll have Bhagavatam class tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll carry on with this nectar of the Sankirtan mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Prabhupada Disciples Association program. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Rama. Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.